everyone. So today we are going to be doing the second recipe from the Nancy Drew cookbook. So today we're going to be doing a recipe based off of the second book, which is called The Hidden Staircase, and we are going to be making the Hidden Staircase biscuits. So if you'd like to see how to make this recipe and what I think of it, then please keep watching. So if you'd like the full recipe, you can pause it here, but I'm going to let you know everything we need on how to make the Hidden Staircase biscuits. So the ingredients for this one is pretty straightforward and simple, which I always can appreciate. So for this recipe, what we need is a can of refrigerated buttermilk biscuits. The recipe calls for a 10 count, but mine is 8. Then we need 2 tablespoons of butter, a 1/4 cup of maraschino cherry juice, and 10 sugar lumps. Now, I actually didn't have sugar lumps and I didn't want to go out and buy any, so I just actually made these myself. They're kind of cute. They're like a little heart-shaped sugar lump, and I already had everything, so I wasn't going to go buy some if I didn't need them. So first things first, the instructions say to heat the oven to 425 degrees, so I've got that going. Next, it says to line a baking pan with aluminum foil. I prefer to use parchment paper, so that's what I'm using today. And now we need to separate the biscuits and place them on the pan. I have no clue why, but opening a can of biscuits always gives me so much anxiety. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and just separate the biscuits and put them all on the pan. Not gonna lie, I really love that this is a simple canned biscuit recipe rather than making them from scratch. You always could make them from scratch if that's more your style, but sometimes I just like a little bit of a simpler recipe. Alright, next the recipe says to melt the butter in a small saucepan. I don't have time for that. We're going with the microwave. Alright, I have my butter all melted, and with a little brush, I am just going to brush this over the top of each of the biscuits. Alright, it looks like 2 tablespoons was a little bit more than I needed, especially since mine is only an 8 count of biscuits. So I'm just gonna really butter these up, because I'm not gonna lie, I love a good buttered biscuit. Alright, these are as buttery as they are going to get. Alright, so next the recipe says to dip each sugar lump into the cherry juice and push the lumps into the tops of the biscuits. Okay, I've never really done this before, so I'm just going to try to take my fork and dip it in and push it into the top of the biscuit. And I think I'm definitely going to have more sugar cubes than I need, so maybe I'll do 2 per biscuit. And I think that these might be a little bit smaller than like a standard sugar cube size, so maybe I will do 2. Not gonna lie, this cherry juice actually smells really good. I might not be the tidiest of doing this, but I think these are gonna be really good no matter what. Alright, I guess that will be good. Now I definitely didn't need nearly as much cherry juice at all. Barely used any at all, so I'm gonna reserve my cherry juice and put it back with the cherries. Alright, so my biscuits do look a little messy, but that is okay. So the next step says to bake the biscuits for 10 minutes and serve them piping hot. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this over to the oven and bake them for 10 minutes. Alright guys, I have the biscuits right out of the oven. I will say I probably overcooked them by about a minute or so. I did the 10 minutes like the recipe said. I think it was just a little bit too long for these, but they still look pretty good. However, the undersides did get a little on the toasty side, but that is okay. Next time I will be sure to follow the directions on my biscuits instead of the recipe. Yeah, just consulting with my actual biscuit can, these say to do for 350 for 13 to 7, whereas the Nancy Drew recipe was like 425 for 10 minutes. So I think it just got these a little overcooked. Alright, so I'm gonna do an off-camera taste test. I'm just not very pretty today. So these are definitely very hot still, so I'm gonna kind of tear one open and we're gonna let that cool for just a moment, but it does look very, very good. I have to say I've never had a cherry juice biscuit before, but I am open to trying it because it sounds and smells very delicious. Alright guys, here we go with the first bite. It's definitely very good. I almost wish I would have done more of the cherry juice and the sugar. It's very good though. And then instead of just doing 1 in the center, I could have done like 3 little sugar cubes in the top, especially since my sugar cubes were a little bit smaller than like a standard like one you'd get from the store, but these are actually very, very good. Yeah, I did get the ends just a little bit toasty, so I'm just gonna take that off. Honestly guys, I would definitely make these again. I think that they're very good if you like more of like a sweet biscuit. If I were gonna make these again next time, what I would do after I do the butter basted on the top of it, I would do the same thing with the cherry juice so that the entire top of the biscuit gets covered in the cherry juice, and that would have been delicious. So I think that's what I would do next time, and then just do the little sugar cubes on top. Or if you didn't even want to put the sugar, you wouldn't have to because the cherry juice is pretty sweet on its own, or you could even just sprinkle the sugar on top of the biscuits. Overall though, I think this was a wonderful recipe. I think that the end product tastes delicious.
Easy to make, simple ingredients. You could do this with a kid. And overall, I give this one a 10 out of 10. I think it was a wonderful recipe. I would just make, again, some minor modifications to my likings, but overall, I think that this was a really good recipe to try out. All right, guys, let me know, what recipe do you want me to try next from the Nancy Drew Cookbook?
So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Links are below. And until my next video, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.